All right, men, welcome back to Slumlord U. Today we're going to discuss service requests. Can anyone tell me what a service request is? Yes, Cletus?
Is that when you call a hooker?
No, Cletus, it's not when you call a hooker. Anyone else? Clifton?
It's when someone calls to get something fixed. We don't do that.
An A+ and a beer for Cliff. That's right. And it can be for almost anything, from a dripping faucet to a smashed window to a busted oven. Before I go into detail, let me ask, what do you think is the best way to approach service requests? Yes, Jonathan?
Respond to them as quickly as possible.
Well, I can see why your name is Jonathan. Obviously, you've got the brains of a seagull. Just do me a favor and don't talk for the rest of the day, all right? Thanks. Now, it's really easy to collect rent, and almost as easy to evict troublemakers and deadbeats, but the proper method for handling service requests is far more difficult. It's a delicate balancing act. You need to learn how to effectively ignore service requests while barely staying within the law so they can't withhold the rent. But don't worry, by the end of this lesson you'll be total wizards at this. The first step is to make sure your tenants understand how unimportant their request is, no matter how important it really seems. Listen, guys, I've been a successful slumlord for a long time, and here's my tried and true method for doing this. You've got to make them believe that they have the least important service issue of all your tenants, if not all time. The best way to do this is to tell them that no matter what their issue is, that you have a larger, more pressing issue. You don't have to tell them that your actual issue is to not be bugged while you're parked at the Jiffy Mart eating a ham on rye and finishing off a Louis L'Amour. That's another dang business, but it's your business, and it's more important than whatever stupid repair they think they need. Now, in order to demonstrate my point, we're going to do a role-play exercise. Can I have 2 volunteers, please? All right, you two, Harry and Larry, come down here and have a seat facing each other. Great. Now, Harry, you get to play a tenant with a maintenance issue. Larry, you're going to play the maintenance guy who was given a service request. By the way, gang, what is the best format for a service request? Yeah, Jorge?
Verbal.
Absolutely right. If it ain't written down, you ain't got to acknowledge it, and your bosses are none the wiser. If the rental office is using paper, they're making a huge mistake. It opens them up to lawsuits and such. So, Harry, I want you to make a phone call to Larry with a maintenance need. Use your imagination. And Larry, I want you to respond like I've been teaching you, all right? Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi. My kitchen sink doesn't work. I need you to come look at it.
Oh, okay, I'll get back to you soon. But Mrs. Jones' roof caved in and I gotta take care of that first, all right? I'll get back to you soon. Bye!
Excellent work for the first try. Let's go over what he did right. Right off the bat, Larry set the tone by just saying hello rather than identifying himself or the company he works for. That instantly puts him in a power position because it throws the tenant off. You'll also notice that he said bye and hung up without waiting for a response. This is how you show the tenant that you're the one in charge and they have no repercussions. Now, there was one area for improvement. When Larry made up the excuse, he used too extreme a maintenance issue to start with. You want to save catastrophic scenarios as an absolute last resort. It's better to start with something smaller but still serious, say a cracked window or a broken fridge. And here's a pro tip. Once that exchange has taken place, it's best to switch on your voicemail after that. You don't want them to be able to actually talk to you again, or they might manage to convince you to fix something. Better yet, if your voicemail box is full, keep it that way. Never delete a message. Ever. If you find your tenants aren't leaving you enough messages to fill your inbox, call yourself and leave messages until it does. You don't want a paper or digital trail. That will give you more flexibility and less hassle in case they keep trying to call back. Now let's discuss how to behave if they get a bit uppity or try to go over your head, or in that rare case when the issue truly does threaten their health or safety. Any ideas on how to approach the situation then? Yes, Omar?
Handle it pleasantly and get it taken care of immediately.
Geez, Omar, it's like you've been asleep through class. I mean, yeah, you want to keep yourself out of trouble, but you don't want to seem too anxious to please them. These ain't no luxury rentals, right? So here's how I would approach it. Make sure you pretend like you're just a good old boy who's overworked and underpaid so they feel sorry for you. In fact, you want them to actually feel guilty for even asking you to do something. You can even say that your home is in the same disarray and you haven't even had time to fix your pipes or whatever. Now let's examine another scenario. In spite of your best lack of effort, a woman manages to reach you. This is the 4th or 5th time she's called, and she is hopping mad that you haven't helped her. How do you respond? Jeff?
Ignore her. She's abroad.
Dude, you could be teaching this class. This is really important. If the woman calls, don't respond. Don't even acknowledge her existence. This only feeds the problem. Call the man back on his number. Make sure that you talk only to him, and make sure you sound totally reasonable when you do, so that he sides against his wife. If you can cause marital problems, they'll be more focused on each other than on you. Total bonus. All right, I know that every now and then you gotta show up and actually work. When is the best time of day to do that? Okay, you, Max?
When they are not home to answer the door, of course.
They told me I shouldn't allow cats in class, and I'm glad I proved them wrong. If anyone could be more gloriously irreverent and self-serving, it'd be a cat. That's right, Max. Show up when you know darn well they won't be home. That way you can blame them for not being able to fix whatever they're whining about. And here's a bonus tip. Just in case you miscalculated and someone is home, you should rap on the door as quietly as possible so there's no chance of them hearing you. Now keep in mind, you must knock quietly enough so that even if they have a dog, not a soul will hear you or know you were there. But if they have one of those video doorbell thingies, you can prove you tried. Now, before we go on our 4-hour lunch break, remember, keep making those false promises. Nothing gives you more time than false hope. Class dismissed.
At Starcucks, we proudly stand by our longtime leftist business approach. After all, we certainly don't want to appear racist, sexist, anti-trans, anti-LGBTQ, well, you get the idea. That's why in many parts of the country, we work in loving solidarity with our union members. Happy employees make for happy profits, right? To show you what I'm talking about, let's look in on a few recent encounters at one of our locations.
Welcome to Starcucks. What can I make for you?
Not a damn thing.
Excuse me?
How could you?
How could I what?
How could you support Hamas?
What?
Don't play dumb with me, sister. I saw your union's social media post. You openly stated that you support Palestine.
Well, I don't really keep up on our posts.
You are a union member, aren't you?
Well, yes, but that's because...
So you support those terrorists. And why? Because you hate Israel.
What are you talking about? My grandmother immigrated from Israel. I'm Jewish.
How dare you betray your heritage?
Look, this is ridiculous. Do you want coffee or not?
No, and you'll never see me in here again.
I hope not. Welcome to Starcucks. What can I get started for you?
An apology
For what?
for supporting those bloodthirsty baby-killing monsters.
Look, Rabbi, not all Palestinians are terrorists. Either way, I don't support Hamas.
I need to talk to you, Liz.
Okay, as soon as I'm finishing helping the rabbi.
He can wait.
Forget it, Liz. No one in my congregation will support this company again. Shalom.
What's wrong?
Why did you tell that man that you don't support Hamas?
Because I don't.
You do realize our union supports Hamas, right?
I do now. Listen, why are we taking a stance on that at all? I don't recall any discussion of this. Aren't you afraid of losing customers?
Aren't you afraid of losing your job?
Really? You're going to take that approach?
Whatever works. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Whatever. Welcome to Starcucks. Please tell me you're going to actually buy something.
Infidel, I heard you. You said you hated Hamas. Allah be praised. Death to Israel. Death to America.
Death to my give a damn.
Well, it looks like we have a union to sue and more work to do. We'll keep trying. Until next time.
Welcome to Counterculture Wise, a Stormcap production. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts, our guests, and the dog, and do not necessarily reflect the views of any of our platforms, our advertisers, or any other dog.
As you listen today, please remember, we are so much more than a podcast. All of our stories we discuss are linked in our show notes on counterculturewise.com. Visit there for commentary, guest photos and links, animations, and fun merchandise.
If you have a story idea or would like to be a guest on our show, contact us via our website. You can also follow us on Twitter, Gab, Instagram, Facebook, and all over social media, where we'll post memes, cat pics, and commentary that gets us booted off on a regular basis.
If you're listening live, be sure to join our chat on Spreaker. If you're listening dead, please stop voting Democrat, but enjoy the show anyway. Hello, and welcome everybody to our Spooktacular. Woo!
Welcome to the show, blah,
Blah,
blah.
blah. We're just 2 days away from All Hallows Eve, so we'll spend the night just, well, doing what we do, I guess, with scary, ghosty-eyed things in the background. Anyways, we've got 2 black dogs. I think that counts. They are happily gnawing on their hooves in the background, and we have taken a turn for that chili. My goodness.
I know.
Just 2 days ago, it was like 80 and 90 degrees, and now it's like 45, and we're both just sitting here in Counterculture Wise Studios happily shivering because we're not 600 billion degrees with 97 fans on, so hopefully our sound is better than ever today. Well, welcome everybody to another Sunday night with Counterculture Wise. I am your hostess with the mostest, Ms. Melanie Hope, and here with me in our Counterculture Wise Chili Studios is, well, he's my husband. I married the guy on purpose even. I said I do and everything.
Figured that out yet.
Yeah. He's my very best friend on the whole planet since my dog died. And
There was a hierarchy.
there was. I mean, she was before you, so yeah. And well, he's my co-host, and he's also known as my sweet baboo, Mr. James Monis.
A Halloween dad joke. The skeleton walks into a bar and says, "Hey, bartender, I'll have 1 beer and a mop." Well, he wanted one.
Hey, at least I was on the button this time.
You were on
once.
the button.
I was actually
I
on
will
the button.
grant you that. You were
I
ready to rock and roll
was
on that.
on the button. All right. Well, sadly, we have a trio of goodbyes. I hate starting our shows with, who died this week?
It's become a sad tradition of our show.
Well, I was just complaining that I'm at that age now where my friends are starting to pass away, and now a friend has literally...
A friend has literally passed away. Everybody's friend.
But the meme.
Oh,
I cannot unsee the meme.
Yeah.
So we say goodbye to Matthew Perry.
Chandler
He was
Bing on Friends.
Yeah, funny guy, sweet guy, troubled guy.
Probably
never
my
quite.
favorite character on the show.
But it's either him or Joey for me. But yeah, sweet guy, and I guess if you're gonna die in a hot tub. What a way to go, right?
Yeah, he had a long history of substance abuse, and I have no idea
anymore anybody else does, if that had anything to do with
he was pretty young.
He was 54.
Yeah, that's really young.
Yeah.
So
when they're young like that, it's a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he lives on every night at 5 and 6 on your local TV station.
Still, yeah, and probably will forever.
He'll be young forever.
He will, and he's been in several really cute movies, and it's sad to see somebody go that young. He still had a lot of career left ahead of him.
Yeah, he was also in about the 47 or 95th remake of The Odd Couple.
Was he?
Yeah, there was a remake with him and Tom Lennon from Reno 911.
Huh. I'll have to check it out.
He played the Matthew Perry played Oscar.
He played Oscar?
Yeah.
Ah, he seemed to be. I would see him more in the effeminate neatnik role, but I'll have to check it out.
That might be why they did it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
Check it out. And then Night Court, man, they're dropping like flies too. I mean, who's left?
Well, John Larroquette, who's in the reboot. But
they rebooted Night Court?
Yeah, they rebooted Night Court.
Really?
Yeah.
But pretty much everybody else is gone.
Everybody else is either gone.
The cute blonde chick, is she still around?
Marky Post?
Yeah.
She's not.
We lost Marky too?
Yeah, years ago.
Oh my!
So far, we've lost Harry Anderson. Marky
I loved
Post.
Harry. He was one of a kind. She was
sadly Richard Mall, who played my
Mall.
favorite character on the show, Bull.
He was so good.
I mean, he did a lot of other things. He was a cartoon voice actor. He played Two-Face in the Batman cartoons.
Oh, I didn't realize he was Two-Face.
Yeah.
But he did a lot. And from what I understand, he was every bit as sweet in real life as he was on the screen. So.
Well, the cool thing is nobody would recognize him when he wasn't, playing...
When he had hair.
When he had hair.
Yeah,
he was able to
shaved
be
his head for that
relatively
role.
anonymous, even though he was big. He was really big.
He was a big dude. And the first bailiff, the old lady that died, I guess he was heartbroken over her.
Yeah, he was only one of only three actors who was in the show from beginning to end. The other two being Larroquette and Anderson.
We have a person in chat, hi Kim, that says, a weird barefoot and shirtless dude in a Mexican restaurant told me about your show. Golly, I wonder who that could be.
Well, welcome.
Welcome, Kim. It's nice to see you in chat. Hopefully he'll drop in as well. It's been a while. I know he's out touring the world right now. And I think you'll have a lot of fun on the show. And we don't get a lot of people in chat when we're live, but we tend to get a lot of people following up after the fact. But it's always nice to have somebody to talk to. If Dave drops in, you're going to get some of the best puns ever laid on the show. I know he's been busy with things,
too. And if you do like it, tell your friends. Bring them along. I have some friends from my job at the ministry who are interested in being interviewed.
Oh, very cool.
So
we'll have some fun.
They may have already messaged us. I don't.
And you don't have to take your shoes or your shirt off. All are welcome here.
Well, it's audio anyway, so it's not like
that's right. We won't know. You don't even know what we're wearing.
It's Halloween. Just let your mind wander.
Just let your mind wander. And one last phrase, because it always comes in threes. So as I was typing
it comes in ones, but okay.
No, it always comes in threes when they're famous.
The third one is Richard Roundtree, who played Shaft in the original film of the franchise. Shaft was a new character. He was a black action hero, tough guy, and I can't recall if I've ever seen any of the Shaft movies.
I don't think I have.
I certainly love the theme song.
The song, Shut Your Mouth.
That Shaft is one bad mother.
Shut your mouth.
We'll talk about Shaft. We can dig it. Anyway, I grew up in that era, so that's the way it goes. But yeah, I played John Shaft. This is from an article. The character John Shaft is his own man, a private detective who jaywalks confidently through moving Times Square traffic in a handsome brown leather coat with a collar turned up, sports a robust dark mustache somewhere between walrus style and downturned handlebar, and keeps a pearl-handled revolver in the fridge in his Greenwich Village duplex apartment.
Why would you keep your revolver in a fridge?
I'll have to see the movie and find out.
Cold steel,
I won't be getting back to you all, but I will see the movie and find out.
Okay, I think I'll watch the movie with you. Just
Speaking of icons, I gave a listen to the new Rolling Stones album, Hackney Diamonds.
I enjoyed it.
For a bunch of octogenarians,
Yeah.
these guys pulled it off.
Nary a broken hip, and what?
It
Guess.
was consistently
My
good,
goodness.
beginning to end. Am I going to place it in the same pantheon as Sticky Fingers or Beggar's Banquet? I don't know. Time will tell. But it was a very solid album with contributions from a lot of guest artists: Paul McCartney, Elton John, Stevie Wonder, Lady Gaga. And
Lady
and
Gaga
original-
went full Pink
gospel.
Floyd in the background. Man.
Yeah,
she
was
she's
good.
She's so amazing.
And original bassist Bill Wyman. The late drummer Charlie Watts, they did a couple of songs that he played on, and then the rest of them were played by the very capable Steve Jordan. Really good album. If you haven't heard
it was solid. It was
it's a
solid.
good, solid Stones album. And you could say it's the best album in years, but it's the first original album since 2005. So, of course, it's going to be the best album in years. But some critics are going so far as to comparing it to the stuff they did in the 70s, like Sticky Fingers or
Yeah, I wouldn't go that
Some
far.
Girls, but I wouldn't go that far.
Can't the boomers let us have anything? I mean, they've got all of politics, they've got all of TV, they've got all of music. It's like we don't get anything anymore.
We're all
You
gonna
go straight from
the boomers are gonna outlast us. We're all gonna be
Yeah.
cast out in a ditch somewhere.
We're all going to be dead, and the boomers are still going to be hanging on and propped up, and it's
in hospital beds with an IV casting votes on. Never mind.
like our entire generation just got skipped over. It's like we didn't even exist.
It's weird, but anyway, you might as well enjoy the music, and I highly recommend the album.
It was solid.
Probably my favorite songs in the album were "Bite My Head Off," which is the punk song that has McCartney playing a brand new fuzz bass the producer Andrew Watt gave him, and he sounds amazing on it.
Because Lord knows Paul McCartney
And the
needs
one
your
that
charitable
Lady
gifts.
Gaga sings on, I don't have the notes in front of me. I can't remember what it is, but it is a gospel-tinged
It's
song.
good.
And it's my
Yeah.
favorite. That's probably my favorite song on the album.
Yeah.
So give it a listen if you like that kind of stuff and want to break away from your Post Malone, Lady
I can't think of her name, the blonde
Cardi
chick.
B stuff.
Cardi B. Blech.
So
Speaking of, we have a
of-
TDSer of the week. We still need to make
TDSer of the week.
We need to make a stinger for this. It just needs to be a bunch of ree.
Followed by Trump going sad.
No, vagina.
Vagina.
That still cracks me up.
China, vagina, just the way he says anything that rhymes with Ina, I'd pay to hear him say. This week's is Cher, the latest. Now, don't get me wrong, I had a crush on her when I was a kid, watching her on the Sonny and Cher shows, walking around in those Bob Mackie outfits. She's a brilliant performer, but her politics have always been wonky in my mind. But she wants to leave. She's going to say she's leaving the United States. How many celebrities had said the first time around that they would leave if Trump became president?
Pretty much all of them.
Yeah, and how
Didn't
many?
Madonna
of them,
threaten to blow the place up?
How many of them outside of Tom Hanks
None
and
of them
Stevie
ever-
Wonder have done it? No.
Wait, Tom Hanks left?
I don't think he lives in the United States anymore.
I don't think it was because of Trump, though.
Yeah.
Stevie
I don't
Wonder
know.
left? How would he know? Sure, Stevie. Sure, you're in Canada, Stevie. Yeah. See, ooh, cold.
No,
what you going on a boot there, Stevie? Oh, yeah, you're in Canada, Stevie. That's where you are. Mm-hmm. Sorry. I love the man. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Anyway, Cher has never refrained from expressing her disdain for former President Trump during Trump's brief time in office. The
Free
pop
rent.
musician often criticized and now 4 times indicted. Of course, they're saying that because indictment means that you're guilty. Everybody knows that. Anyway, indicted former reality TV star for his divisive policies and statements. The music icon claimed she almost got an ulcer the last time she worried about Trump in the Guardian piece published on Wednesday.
Hanks lives in Southern California.
Pardon
And
me?
Hanks lives in Southern
Oh,
California
I don't keep it.
and owns a mansion,
I got,
a $26 million mansion in Pacific Palisades, Los Angeles, Antiparos, Greece, and another property on Patmos Island.
okay, that's the one I was thinking of. I thought he was moving there permanently.
Oh.
I apologize.
You'd think after Castaway he wouldn't want to live on an island.
There is that. Cher,
If
77.
he actually lives on an island, I hope there is a Wilson Way or lane or street or boulevard or something.
Cher, who is 77 years old, told the outlet she's horrified by the prospect of Trump returning to 1600.
All of the things they said he was going to do.
If he gets in, who knows? This time it will leave the country. She's especially worried about trans people's prospects for the future. You have a future, people. Shut up.
Of course
She confessed. It's something like 500 bills they're trying
Is
to
it
pass.
her
I
ugly
was with
son
two
that became
trans
her
girls.
daughter, or her ugly daughter that became a son? I forget.
It's her daughter became a son.
How did those two beautiful people create that? Just how did they make that? I mean, that is some really bad cross pollination
you're not
going
being
on there.
very nice. I mean, you know.
I'm being nice. He's he, she, it. I mean, bleh.
Anyway. Oh, let me see here. One moment, please.
I don't have to play a crazy game. That's their job. And what has Trump ever said at all about the trans community? Name one thing he said at all ever. These people live in this weird fantasy world. I mean, there's still people out there who think that he complimented Nazis and told people to drink bleach, and they're so deep in their bubble that they don't. It's like, dude, you could even use Google, and Google is curated by China, and you can still find the truth.
I know.
And they won't do it. It's like, why? My question is, why do you want to believe it? What is in it for you that you have to harbor that much hatred and anger? It's so important to you that even when somebody points out the truth, you're like, nah.
Trump never said anything against gay people or against trans people, so far as I know.
Biden was anti-gay marriage. Obama was anti-gay marriage.
Until
Clinton was anti-gay marriage, and Trump never cared.
Anyway, it's something like 500 bills are trying to pass. I was with two trans girls the other night. Of course, my own child, Chaz, is trans. I was saying, we've got to stand together. I don't know what the eventual plan is for trans people. I don't put anything past them. Back in 2016, Cher, who had been critical of Trump on social media on many occasions, compared the real estate magnate to two dictators, of course, and Patty McCormick's character in a 1956 American horror film, The Bad Seed. She said at the time, I was thinking all the despots, Stalin, Hitler, but then I thought...
Oh, for crying in the mud.
Of course, always
So
Stalin,
we have
Hitler.
an actual dictator who actually signs our rights away, that they're actually trying to come up with a ministry of truth, and she's worried about Trump? They are literally marching in the hallways of schools saying, kill the Jews. And Trump's our problem?
Anyway.
We literally have actual
If you feel
Hitler
you need to get an ulcer,
worshipers.
Cher, go right ahead,
I mean, I watched a video, I think it was at Stanford, of them shouting from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, and these poor Jewish kids are like locked in the library praying to live through the night because we have literal Jew-hating, Hamas-supporting Nazis, and I'm not being hyperbolic, this is actually happening, and she's trying to say, oh, Trump wants to be a dictator? Biden's funding this war, both sides. I'm getting shrill.
Yeah,
I'm getting
the
shrill.
pitch is going up.
It's going to keep going up until only Mariah Carey will be able to hear me.
Cher, we got you, babe. Moving on.
I had to hand it to her, though. She's good looking for a 240-year-old lady.
Well, plastic surgery helps.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think? Okay.
I mean, you've seen photos of her back in the 60s and 70s, right?
If I could turn back time, I
Well,
would
she
date
has,
a fetus.
But yeah, I mean, she's most famously got a nose job in the 80s for reasons I have yet to understand because she was gorgeous.
She was a beautiful lady.
Still is beautiful,
Yeah.
She's an entertainment icon. I'd love to see her in concert.
It's just her beauty is depleted by her just being an awful person. So
I don't know if she's an awful person. Or politics are not what I agree with.
I
I'm trying to
think
be a little bit more even and open-minded here, or fair-minded, I guess.
I just think it's sad that people are so easily misled by fake news and things that aren't true. I mean, I was watching Tim Pool, and he had chunk yogurt on with him.
Why?
Well, here's the thing. I believe in giving everybody a voice. And normally lefties are so afraid of being confronted with the truth that they won't allow any other voices on. I mean, they live completely in a bubble.
I will give Tim credit for interviewing him, and I'll give Mr. Uger the credit for actually showing up on Timcast.
But he ended up, braying like a jackass and spitting everywhere and saying a bunch of things that are just
exposing it to the light.
Totally not
it's all
true.
Cool.
Well, and that's the thing, is if you want to make a complete ass out of a liberal, just let them talk.
Yeah.
The problem is they hear that from each other and they think it's real. And I miss, sadly, they changed the coding in Twitter. They used to be able to go to, it's an offshoot of Ground News.
Right.
And you used to be able to take somebody's Twitter handle and you could see what news sources they follow.
Right.
And I'm about 23%, actually I'm 40-something% liberal, 23% central, and the rest, right. So I'm very, very balanced as far as where I get my news sources. But these people that come on and screech at you and call you names and tell you you're a bigot and an istophobe and blah, 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 you could go and see that they are absolutely 100% left. No center, no right, no other news sources. They are so completely in a bubble that they see Twitter as reality, and that is their only source of news. And, well, no wonder they're angry and mad up all the time. They're being lied to, and they're okay with it.
Right.
And if you try to, you can't meet them with facts. You can't say, well, here is the truth. Here is the reality. Here's the study. Here's the video. Here's what actually happened. They will double, triple, quadruple down because they want to live in that world so bad. And my question is, why? Why would you want to live in a world where all these awful things are true and all these awful people are trying
you're always angry
come after
and defensive and ready to
lash
out?
There's no, everything is black and white, black and white, black and white. Everything is racist. Everything is bad. And it's like they can't let it go.
Right.
All right. Well, I know this is a segment that's near and dear to your heart, so I'm going to go take care of our jingle bells.
Okay. Well, I'm going to talk about something else before we do it. But
okay.
We got a new Speaker of the House,
Mike
Johnson, who has openly professed his Christianity.
Oh, did that piss off the left?
Which, I think is wonderful, but other people really aren't that happy about it. But at least this time the silliness is over, and we have somebody who I don't know him. Nobody know. Plus he has a very generic name, Mike Johnson. How many Mike Johnsons are there in Washington, D.C., let alone the United States, let alone the world? But at the same time, he is...
we couldn't get a John Doe?
Yeah, I might as well have gotten one. But yeah, I hope he does a great job for our country. Not just for Republicans, not just for Democrats, but that we can reach some kind of consensus and move things along. I just think it would be a good idea. So now we're going to go to my favorite segment of the show. She's out of the office. She's out of the studio. So I will continue. Now it's time for News of the Weird and Wonderful with your hosts, Melanie Hope and...
You got it. This is before Weird and Wonderful. This is the Florida Man Olympics.
Oh.
This is an actual thing.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. Well, it's in the... okay. Well, we'll discuss it after the show. No problem. There is an actual event coming up next week. Or, I'm sorry, when is it again? Oh, yeah, it's in February of 2024. The Florida Man Games. For you Florida Man fans, this is going to be a great event. Some of the games, let me give you some examples. Weaponized pool noodle mud duel. You can register your team for that. The evading arrest obstacle course. Jump over fences, through backyards and away from actual police officers to earn your freedom. Category 5 cash grabs. Subject yourself to Category 5 wins as you scramble to catch as much real cash as you can. And now, a catalytic converter, 2 bikes, and a handful of copper pipes. Race against time. Compete head-to-head any race that lets you live a day in the life of a Florida man headline. This is probably my favorite. Beer Belly Florida Sumo. Dive into the beer belly of the beast as you try to blast your opponent out of the ring. And they actually have former American gladiators judging it. This is going to be a lot of fun. And there's also Challenge Friends. There's a Mechanical Gator, Wipeout Log Slammer, Sumo Smash and Face Off Obstacle. There's also going to be a mullet contest.
Oh, that's classic. Too bad you can't participate in that.
Not anymore. The Florida Ma'am pinup.
Oh, good Lord. Do you have to have teeth for that?
Well, I mean, the girl they have the drawing of looks just like Morgan Fairchild.
Oh, yeah. Make sure you go to counterculturewise.com where we archive all the links. The artwork on these is fantastic.
But no, these are going to be, these are not bucktooth, blah, blah. They're looking for real hot women. Chicken Coop Bingo.
What?
9/11.
So you have like a bingo card where the chicken does his...
Yeah. 2 chickens will decide whether you win or lose in this fun, dirty game inspired by our Floridian family in places like DeLand or Interlaken, where they literally do this for fun because they don't know that cell phones exist yet. 9/11 fight, or 9/11 fight night. Brawl of the Badges. Watch officers take on firefighters. This is the one Melanie would come to.
Oh, yeah. All that yellow rubber.
Take on firefighters in the Brawl of the Badges main event as the Florida Man Games comes to a close.
Do they grease them up?
Yeah, anyway. The epic showdown promises to be intense as these heroes clash in battle to prove who's the toughest behind the badge.
So we thought there were
selfies with alligators, barbecue competition, and cultural demonstrations, alligator shows, Dottill pepper, which is Florida's hot pepper, vendors, SWAT vehicles, and more. Oh my gosh, I would love to do this. I'd love to go here. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, we thought that they were missing a few events.
Yeah, there's that.
So we came up with some other events, such as the meth addict pole jump. You can sail over those bodies. I mean, that's a skill that you'll need in San Francisco and L.A. anyway, so it's good that it's transferable.
Actually would be helpful.
Based on some of the stories we've been reading, the separating pythons from their gator dinners. There's no winners in that one. Let's just...
This one is more political in nature. Standing on the Senate floor and yelling gay until you are removed via the Don't Say Gay bill.
Which isn't a thing, but...
It's all right.
They're scared enough about it, you might as well. Towing a camper with a moped. Something an actual Florida man has done.
Stoned swamp swimming.
Okay, now does that mean that you get stoned and then go swimming in the swamp? Or that you swim in the swamp and people throw stones at you? Or maybe a combination?
Maybe, why not?
And maybe that will lead into the python and gator dinner. And then, of course, you have to blame the cops for finding your stash.
Yeah, the best
It's always the cops' fault.
Best blame,
yeah. I was reading an article earlier about a guy who literally had parked his car in the middle of the road.
I'm sorry, what now?
He had literally parked his car in the middle of the road and fell asleep. And so when a cop knocked on his window, he's like, "What are you pulling me over for?" And surprise, surprise, they found drugs in his car. So, yeah, welcome to Florida, man. Have a nice day. Okay, now we get to go into your favorite time.
Counterculture Wise is proud to present News of the Weird and Wonderful. Here are your hosts, Melanie Hope and Jim Monis.
The more the merrier. Who's in?
We got a Mr. Mike. We got a Miss Kim. It's nice to see new people here. Looks
definitely.
like little Nicky Poo is out there doing his job, spreading the good news. Nice to have you in chat. Thanks.
One more thing before. Well, we're already in. We'll just do Weird and Wonderful. I'll talk about it afterwards.
Okay. That wasn't like.
Okay, well, let me since we're being professional here.
This hour of dead air brought to you by.
If we were talking last week about why we supported Israel, and just as we were doing it, I was on Gab and a very popular Gab contributor who's he says he's the most dangerous man in Canada, but he said that this was a battle that had been waged for centuries, and we shouldn't allow ourselves to get caught up in it. And he said, "Don't expect me to care." And I just answered, "Well, thank you. It's very nice of you to respond at all."
Don't expect me to care.
Right. Okay. So let me say what my response. Because I gave myself a week to think about it because I was live last week when he wrote it, and I didn't want to do anything.
This is a person we know?
No, it's nobody I know.
Oh,
not personally. He's just a podcast host.
Gotcha.
Who was on Gab. I don't even remember his name. He said he doesn't. What I just said, and my response, now that I've had a chance to think about it, is when you have a group like Hamas, and they're looking for the destruction of Israel, what is the thing they say after they're done saying death to Israel? Well, they typically will also say death to America.
Right.
Because we support Israel.
Because they are the little Satan and we are the great Satan.
So I mean, if I'm going to cast my lot with a group, it's going to be the one that doesn't say death to America.
Well,
okay?
It's also going to be the ones that aren't, marching Nazi style singing "Kill all Jews."
I know, but that's all I got to say. It's like, if you say death to America, you're not on my side. Okay. That's all. Getting back to our show.
Okay, not a whole lot there to elaborate on. However, if you are new to our show, last week I did go through the history of quote Palestine because we had someone write in. By the way, you can visit counterculturewise.com, and keep saying I'm in the middle of revamping the website. It'll happen, I swear. Just other things have gotten in the way. But there you can find extra commentary, our videos, our Holy Crap segment is put up on BitChute and Rumble and on our Locals platform. We're going to have all the links up there, but we also do all the links from our show. So if you missed a story or you wanted to get more information about it, you can head on over to counterculturewise.com. Also there, you can find ways of supporting our show, ways of sharing our show. Of course, you can buy our crap. We have a merch store.
We have some fun stuff.
Yeah, and we've been doing this for a while, so we've got all our pets are anthropomorphized and have their own segments. If you're new, check those out as well. I've been uploading them to the Counterculture Cats YouTube page. YouTube absolutely despises us, so we've been shadow banned practically out of existence. Our Holy Crap segment does reasonably well on YouTube, but much, much better on BitChute and Rumble and Locals. And while you're there, if you like us, send us a message. We do read our messages, and if you hate our guts and think we're awful, well, first of all, before we even go into that, let's talk about how much you love us, okay? Yeah. If you love this show, right now, right this second, drop
Oh, my head.
Every time with your head.
Well, I'm sorry.
You should not have your head in the way.
You were supposed to.
You know where the paint bucket is.
I had the helmet on, and then you.
You know where the paint bucket is.
Then you say, go to our website, and it's like, okay,
right.
well, I guess I don't need it.
Well, drop everything. Hit share, hit like, hit subscribe. Tell people about us. If you're listening on we are everywhere. We are on whatever iTunes is calling the Apple, whatever in the heck, I don't know what they call themselves anymore. We're on Spotify. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on Podchaser. We're everywhere.
Did you mention Spotify?
I did mention Spotify, yes. And you know what? We're also on Spotify.
Far out.
So wherever you're listening to us, whether live or not, give us a like, give us a subscribe, share our podcast. You are our hands and feet and voice. And if you like the show, give us, I don't know, 90 billion likes, stars. If you don't like the show, just give us an insulting number like 5.
Five
5
would
stars.
work.
Yeah,
we'll take
it's enough
5.
that we know you're there, but it's not like you're giving us too much. So kind of balance it out like that. So 5 stars if you don't like us. 200 billion. I mean, we can give that many dollars to Ukraine. You might as well give us that many stars. Easy peasy. And if you're not having a good time, you can head on over to the ID10T form and give it a fill out, and we will give it the attention it deserves.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay, now officially we are in the land of weird and wonderful.
The land of weird and wonderful.
I didn't even know LL Bean was still around.
I know, this is hilarious.
I used to work for the company that handled their credit cards.
Really?
Yeah. Barclays used to handle the LL Bean card.
I'll be darned.
Think they sold off the portfolio to somebody else.
Well, they have a bootmobile that looks like one of their hiking boots. And apparently they met up with the Planters Nutmobile, so we got a boot to the nuts. The only thing missing is the Wienermobile. We actually got to see the Wienermobile, so that was fun.
that was, and we were just bumbling through town. We didn't even know it was going to be there. She went inside. I didn't, and I'm still not sure why I didn't, but it was pretty cool. It's an iconic vehicle. So.
I'm loving our chat. Another guy came in. He's like, "Hey, is Payne here?" And Kim says the host confirmed that he's probably too short to reach a keyboard to log into chat. God, I hope he does come.
That's hilarious.
I'm going to text him. All right, so read about the boot to the nuts.
Boot to the nuts. Cashew, Carrie, Macadamial, Mulrooney, and Tree Nut Tanya get along pretty well, considering that they're...
Is that like show names or...
Yeah, I would hope so, since it all starts with nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway, get along pretty well, considering they've covered more than 16,000 miles together since June, all inside an oversized fiberglass peanut on wheels. It really is the best job in the world, says Katie Cheeseborough, alias Cashew Katie. You get to see the country through the eyes of a giant peanut. Sunday, the mobile nut stopped in Freeport for a photo op with Maine's own Bootmobile, the giant LL Bean boot on wheels. Cheeseborough, along with her co-workers Mason Mulrooney and Tanya Castro, all got a 1-year contract with Hormel Foods, the parent company of snack maker Planters, my preferred peanut.
Yeah.
Not that they...
Didn't know you had a preferred peanut, but knock yourself
I
out.
like their cocktail peanuts.
Okay.
They're a little crunchier.
I like my boiled peanuts, the Cajun spicy.
Oh, her homemade ones are amazing. Anyway, to drive the Nutmobile 45,000 miles across America, built with fiberglass and pool noodles, which form the decorative ridges on the vehicle's
Fiberglass and
exterior.
pool noodles? That's hilarious.
The Nutmobile also boasts a flat-screen TV and a nut locker. Ouch. Double doors emblazoned with... Sorry, I still have an edge, folks. Double doors emblazoned with a full-color graphic of, you guessed it, nuts and overflowing with customized Christmas ornaments, countless packets of honey-roasted peanuts, yum, pecans, trail mix, almonds, pistachios, mixed nuts, and more for handing out on tour. The giant peanut doesn't have any beds, so the intrepid peanut drivers are put up in hotels along the route.
I want you to say intrepid peanut drivers like 3 times fast.
Intrepid peanut drivers, intrepid peanut drivers, intrepid peanut drivers.
I'm really, really proud of you right now.
Thank you.
Oh, hey, I can take a trip inside the Planters Nutmobile on YouTube.
This year, Cheeseborough, Mulrooney, and Castro will make stops on their road trips at the Super Bowl, which is going to be in Las Vegas next year.
It is?
Yeah. The Christmas tree lighting in New York's Times Square and the Kentucky Derby. For now, they're parked behind the LL Bean corporate offices next to one of the 3 Bootmobiles. It's fun to meet other people who are going through the same experience, says Molly Swindle, a New York resident who is taking to the road for a year aboard the LL Bean boot. She, along with her co-workers...
I thought the Wienermobile was one of a kind, but now we got nuts and boots.
They were the originators.
Wait, that's starting to sound like a rap song. Nuts and boots and nuts and boots and nuts and boots and wicka, wicka, wicka. No?
Dream on. Anyway, let's see. Well, they're all co-workers. Co-worker Clara Adams from Portland, Oregon, and Shelby Lewis of Scottsdale, Arizona, all alums of the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. So they did that first. Okay. Take the 3 Bootmobiles on tour all over the eastern seaboard. With the help of the Planters crew, they were planning to film social media content on Monday and drive down Freeport's Main Street with a peanut in tow, or perhaps out in front of the boot. That part was up for debate among the groups. The Bootmobile and Nutmobile is such a unique way to get to engage with people and get them excited, Lewis said.
Okay, I'm going to put this website on our website.
Okay.
They give you the nut mentions.
Nut mentions?
Yeah, it's 415 peanuts long, 140 peanuts wide, 180 peanuts high, and 3 million peanuts in pounds.
Nice.
They had a lot of fun with this.
I think there's this misconception about marketing and that it's not friendly or it's not a two-way conversation. I think these programs are able to really engage with people and hear their stories, share your stories, and it's such an easy icebreaker. You're able to meet strangers and right away you have something to talk about. We're co-workers, but we're friends at the same time, Cheesebro says about Castro and Mulrooney. Along with showing up to conferences and countrywide events, the 3 passengers of the Nutmobile volunteer to fight food insecurity, generate content for their company's social media pages, and are provided with an endless supply of road snacks.
Yeah,
I never thought about that.
Fight food insecurity.
I'm going to ride Hormel now. I want to drive one of these.
I want my food to be insecure. I'm about to eat it. You don't get the buttons, Jim. The buttons are mine.
I have my own buttons. You know how to push them, too. I'm obsessed with the dill pickle cashews, Mulrooney said.
Oh, I haven't tried those. Those sound yummy.
We're going to have to find those.
Oh,
I know they have some pumpkin spice peanuts or cashews or something for the holidays, but... But anyway,
so Macadamia Mulrooney is a good-looking kid.
Just as they were about to
they were
pack up and
packing
drive
up.
away, which is too bad because it would have been nice.
But we
to
still
have a
got to
hot
see
dog.
the inside of it. I don't think they give out free hot dogs though. I think they're cheap.
Why would they not do that?
I think they sell them, or else you pay for them to be there and they give them to the people who are there to be paid for. I bet you the Bootmobile doesn't give out free boots.
Well, I would imagine not. That'd be kind of expensive.
Hey, we might get Nick in the chat after all, so.
All right. Well, then.
You have to catch up on the short jokes that we're sharing in chat, so we're working on them.
He's heard them all.
No, he hasn't.
Unbelievable.
I guess he's in Kentucky. It's nice to know he's on the road. He's having a good time. Hopefully, once we get our studios all moved in the new place, he'll come out and visit us again.
Yeah, we are moving our studio, in case you didn't know.
We're moving our everything, yeah.
Well, we're moving our everything, but...
we don't know where yet.
For the purpose of our audience, it's the studio. Nobody gives a care about our couch.
Nobody cares what's in your sock drawer.
They don't care about my sock drawer or the couch. It's the studio they're interested in.
That's true. So hopefully we'll have him on, because he was third chair there for a couple of days. You guys missed out. You can go back and listen. He's a lot of fun.
So, it is good.
They said it's going to take him a while because he's trying to see over the steering wheel.
You guys are even meaner than my wife, and that's pretty bad, folks.
That is pretty bad.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
Wowzers.
So this is funny. I mean, we talk about fake news, but now we're just focusing on not news. And, based on some of the things they're reporting, this one's kind of fun. So what's worse than seeing a mouse? Well, seeing 2 of them. Apparently this guy was doing a live broadcast for WGN, and he's in a hotel room, and it looked like a nice hotel room. And nobody's paying any attention to what he has to say because behind him there's just mice scurrying back and forth. So I guess his name is Blake Lynch. He's known on social media as Nurse Blake. He's a touring comedian, content creator, and licensed nurse. He joined the WGN Morning News Tuesday to discuss why he started making videos at his upcoming comedy tour, which will be in the city on Sunday in the Chicago Theater. During the interview, there was a small distraction. Well, there were 2 small distractions of mice. So I guess the viewers spotted the mice running across the hotel room floor behind him.
That would distract me from...
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like this morning at church during the pastor's sermon. Somebody's car alarm went off, and I just could not listen to what he was
I don't think it was a car alarm. I think it was somebody's cell phone. I thought it was a fire alarm.
No, I thought it was time to duck and cover.
Yeah. Anyways, these mice went running behind him. He had no idea that they were there, but everybody... It's so funny. A lot of people were concerned about him and called the TV station. Concerned about it? Did they think the mice were going to eat him? They're mice. Anyways, he's okay. He told the hotel, and they upgraded him to a suite. It's like, yeah, you're kind of busted on television. With mice in your... I mean, we have mice. We live out in the country.
Yeah. Max is going through a period. You know, he's getting older now, and he's kind of moseying around. He doesn't move as fast as he could. There was one mouse in our house, and he just all of a sudden turned 6-month-old kitten again. Just absolutely adorable.
Yeah.
He caught it, too.
Yeah, he caught it right away.
Yeah.
But he wanted to toy with it, and he kept letting it loose, so I'd take him and the mouse outside because I didn't want it back in the house.
Right.
And he's like, I don't want to eat it, Mumsy. I want to play with it.
Another cat I used to have did that, too. He was outside just torturing this little mouse. He didn't want to eat it.
Well, I woke up the other day to the head, the tail, and one paw.
Oh, wow.
So I'm pretty sure that was a Fritzy job.
Yeah.
Because she's quite the little huntress.
Yeah, she is. Well, Fritzy means huntress, so.
Oh, does it now?
Yeah.
She has her own... actually, I need to animate that one where she's bringing you all the presents.
Yeah, I wish you would. I really wish you would. You can use my modern bald-headed look rather than...
Yeah, I got to draw you, but it's like I don't know how to get that light glinting off the top of your head, so I'm going to have to learn how to... Oh, wait, I've drawn Brian Stelter. I'll just kind of use that template.
There you go. Just attach his noggin to my...
No. You're better looking than little Stelter. Okay, well, this one's interesting.
Authorities are looking for the person whose donation to a Wisconsin Goodwill last week included ammunition and a live explosive device.
I'm going to the wrong Goodwill.
Oh, my. Kicking off a bomb scare and evacuations of the area, employees of the thrift store in the city of Janesville outside of Madison made the startling discovery on Friday morning while inventorying donated items, prompting the evacuation of an entire city block for more than 2.5 hours while authorities investigated, police said.
Goodness.
The Dane County Bomb Squad, that sounds like a band,
it kind
was
of does.
dispatched to the scene and collected the explosive device identified by police as a cluster bomblet.
You know they would have to do a version of Taking Care of Business.
Yes. To be safely destroyed, authorities said. Employees quickly followed... Cluster bomblet. Employees quickly followed
safety... It sounds like an insult. If I'm going to be a bomb and you call me a cluster bomblet, I'm like, hey, your mom...
I can still blow you up, you know.
Yeah. Call me a bomblet. Who are you?
Don't tick me off. I'm this close. Tick, 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 tick. Employees quickly followed safety protocols by informing store donation center management and safety teams, who then evacuated the building out of precaution for shoppers, donors, and employees, Goodwill Industries of southeastern Wisconsin wrote in a statement. The Janesville Police Department and Dane County Sheriff's Office Bomb Squad responded to the incident and provided further community safety guidance. The store and donation center resumed operations for shopping and donating shortly after 1:30 p.m., the agency said. Of course, nobody showed back up because why would you do that?
So did they drop it in the drop box?
It's not saying so far. No one was hurt in the incident, but Janesville cops are now searching for the mystery donor of the highly dangerous items. In a statement, the police department urged residents who have old military ordinances to contact it to make sure the device is going to be properly disposed of.
They probably didn't know what it was.
Although the age and size of the cluster bomblet found at the Goodwill location was not immediately known, the use, transfer, and production and stockpiling of cluster munitions have been banned worldwide since 2010, when the United Nations Convention on Cluster Munitions went into effect.
And then Biden said, nah, send them to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Well, he did.
Yeah, well. More than 125 nations have signed the treaty, which defines cluster bombs as a conventional munition that is designed to disperse or release explosive sub-munitions, each weighing less than 20 kilograms. Goodwill employees weren't the only ones to unexpectedly find themselves face-to-face with a live explosive device in recent days. Earlier this month, a pair of fishermen in Scotland unknowingly reeled in a live World War II era grenade from Union Canal. How did we miss that one?
I don't know. Because there was another one that wasn't a grenade. It was a bomb of some sort that somebody had.
And I guess the answer to your question is, I was hoping they would say more, but there's nothing. They didn't say anything about what was, who dropped it off. if it was like an anonymous donation. Because I usually just drive up with my boxes, and they empty the boxes, and I go on my way.
Yeah.
But you can drop off. They do have donation drop-off boxes
Right.
in some of them. So
I think a lot
but
of people...
that's usually for clothing, not for
right,
bombs.
it's usually just clothing and ballots.
Right.
That's
Did
what-
I do that?
That's the word.
Anyway.
Okay, this one's interesting. So, all these drought conditions are actually, I know in Las Vegas we found bodies and tires and sunken boats and cars and all kinds of things. In Brazil, there's been extreme drought in parts of the Amazon. It's led to a drop in the water levels, and they have found some 2,000-year-old carvings.
Whoa.
And rock formations. So Livia Ribeiro, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, a longtime resident of the Amazon's largest city, Manaus, said she heard about the rock engravings from friends and wanted to check them out. I thought it was a lie. I'd never seen this. I lived in Manaus for 27 years. The rock carvings are not usually visible because they are covered by the waters of the Negro River, whose flow recorded its lowest level in 121 years last week. That's sad. The surfacing of the engravings on the riverbank have delighted scientists and the general public alike, but have also raised unsettling questions. Of course, they're going to go into climate change and this and that. We look at, but okay, here's the question. If we're destroying the planet, then how did they carve those engravings to begin with? Wouldn't it had to have been in a similar situation?
Good question.
Okay, it goes on and on and on about other stuff, but these engravings are just amazing, and that they've been covered in water all that time and weren't just completely, sanded down. So they say it's an archaeological site of great relevance. They are a site known as Praia das Leijas and were first seen in 2010 during another period of drought, not as severe as the current one. Of course, we have to say that.
That is really
The rock carvings
amazing.
appear against a backdrop of dense jungle with the low brownish waters of the Negro River flowing nearby. Most of the engravings are of human faces. Some of them are rectangular and other oval with smiles or grim expressions. So again, you can go to counterculturewise.com to follow the links to actually see them
cool stuff.
for yourself. Eventually, we're going to learn how to do video, I swear. Hey, Nick's in chat. Hey,
Holy
little
moly.
guy, how you doing, buddy? They were worried that you couldn't see over your steering wheel or reach your keyboard, so I assured them that you found ways.
Okay, I'm glad you got here, Nick, because this is the most important article that we're going to read tonight.
Oh, okay.
You've been blowing your nose all wrong.
Oh, no!
Here's how doctors say you should do it.
Well, if
Okay.
anybody could blow his nose wrong, it would be Nick. Good Lord.
Blow-
He could literally blow a gasket.
All right. And here it is.
How do you have a cold? I mean, you've got like fishing hooks and pliers, and that's got to be rough, man.
I don't know.
And what happens if your nose is running and it gets really cold?
Uh-huh.
Do you end up with just like that tongue to the what is it when you stick your tongue to a flagpole?
Yeah.
That would be like his nose. And it would be like drip down and
I don't know. I never gave it any thought, and I really didn't want to.
Oh. See, I can't stop thinking about it. How
see?
how does he have a cold?
Anyhow, it's funny. The two subtitles of this article are pretty much a summation of the whole thing.
Oh. I hate it when
Blowing
they
your
do that.
nose in the wrong way can cause nosebleeds and make you dizzy. Doctors say you should only blow one nostril at a time if you got a runny nose. I've been doing that for virtually my entire life.
I never thought of blowing one nostril at a time.
Yeah, see, I've always done it that way.
Just I don't know.
And there's actually a chart showing how to blow
There's
your
a
nose.
chart. There's a nose blowing chart.
A nose blowing
There's
chart,
literally it's an infographic. A nose blowing infographic. Oh, and it includes make sure you throw away the tissue.
yes. Yeah. Don't feed it to your dog. I don't know.
How stupid has our society become?
Stupid enough for a blowing your nose infographic. That's how.
How to blow your nose.
Yeah, I don't really need to go any further.
Well, it's funny
on that
though.
one,
The
but-
infographic, the guy doesn't have a face. He doesn't have
He
a
doesn't have
nose.
a
He doesn't have
nose.
eyeballs.
Well,
He
why
doesn't
would
have
you blow a nose that
That's
you don't have?
creepy. Why would? Yeah, seriously. Why would you blow a nose that you don't have?
Especially since it is obviously a guy who has a beard. So I mean, I don't know.
If you can breathe a bit better, you could probably sleep a bit better, and you might be able to go about your daily routine a bit better. If you learn how to blow your schnoz.
That is so deep. We've reached the top of the hour. I think that's a good way to stop the first hour of the show.
But we still have the more wonderful than weird coming up.
Yes, we do.
Oh, come on! Don't you want to read about the doggies? Come on, let's read about the doggies.
Yeah,
I'll read about the doggies, and then we'll go pay a couple of bills.
Okie dokie then.
All right. Well, this one has a video, but the video was stupid.
Okay.
It was like, oh, what's in here? And then it ends. So I'll have to tell you about. It's a 17-second video that shows you nothing. All right. In this video, Estro, who's a lady that I think she was delivering something else to someone else. Anyway, she's investigating a derelict and filthy house in Uncos. Is that how you say that? Puerto Rico? And what she finds is shocking. Multiple starving and emaciated cats and dogs imprisoned in tiny cages.
Oh.
While I was dropping off supplies in a community right after Hurricane Maria in 2017, I heard a dog crying through the window of my van. I immediately pulled over to investigate. What I found was something I will never forget. A dilapidated home, missing almost every wall and roof, full of cages and crates of starving animals. As I walked around the property, I kept finding more and more animals. They were in tiny milk crates, boxes, and cages that had been secured with wire so they could not escape. Why? Why would anybody do this? I mean, a lot of them are Chihuahuas, so who cares? But still.
Now.
Well, me and Max have a thing about Chihuahuas. I was overwhelmed and unprepared for what I found. I kept thinking about what they went through before the hurricane and after, the daily abuse they endured. I hope they found the person who did this. The daily abuse they endured to get them through that Category 4 hurricane in cages, how scared they must have been and how much suffering they had endured. It was unimaginable. And they tell you a little bit about the stats of how many pets are surrounded to shelters. She rescued 14 animals in total, 6 dogs and 8 cats. All were emaciated, scared, starving, and covered in cuts and wounds. Some had trouble walking due to the confinement in such small crates. So she had a follow-up video, shows a cat with a wound to his head, probably from rubbing itself on the metal of the tiny cage. The mass rescue was made even harder as Estro had no way of transporting the animals. Remember, this is right after a hurricane.
Right.
We began walking around the neighborhood on foot. How else would you walk around a neighborhood? We began walking around the neighborhood on our hands? How the heck else would you walk around the dang neighborhood? I hate it when they put stuff. We began walking around the neighborhood on foot, because I had all those other things I could walk on. Okay,
like
for
walk
someone
on the nose I just blew,
but only one nostril at a time. We began. Sorry, I cannot get past lines like that. For someone to help us, we approached a house with a truck outside and asked the owner if we could use the truck to transport the animals. He agreed. Now we just needed a place for the animals to go. Earlier in the day, I had come across an abandoned animal shelter, and I thought I might be able to place the animals there overnight. I didn't remember exactly where it was, but we set out to find it. We loaded the truck with all 14 animals and headed toward the direction of the shelter. Oh, God, these cages are just heartbreaking. We spent an hour on the road, me in the back of the truck with the dogs, trying to find the shelter and hoping we didn't get stopped by police. Oi, what you got there? I guess that wouldn't be in... Finally, we found the shelter and set up the animals, and whatever cages we could find, we set them up with food and water and towels and hoped for the best. Esther was able to identify the owner by talking to her neighbors. They told us she would hit their cages with brooms and shovels to make them stop barking. I'm just blown away by this. The video also shows the rescued animals being able to find joy for the first time after their horrible ordeal. Everyone made it except for one of the cats. They all went into foster care. They received medical care. And once they were ready for adoption, they all found forever homes.
Yay.
Yay.
Happy ending.
We are big proponents for fostering and rescue, so that's a big...
I would suppose so.
A big, yeah, considering all the critters. I've seen them transform from fearful and neglected to trusting and happy. But beyond the immediate impact on individual animals, I rescue because I believe the ripple effect of compassion. By saving one life, we set an example for others, inspire change in our communities, and work toward a more humane and empathetic world. Rescuing animals is not just a duty, it's a calling that brings immense joy and fulfillment to my life. Doesn't it, Max? He should know because he's a rescue. Nothing, actually, yeah, everybody's, all but, okay, 50% of our pets are rescues. And then that I can be part of their second chance and that I can contribute to a world where animals are treated. Because Jim can't leave the house without buying another puppy, so.
Believe me, I've been cured. I've been completely dang cured of wanting another dog. Trust me. These two are a handful.
All right, so instead of burning down a Wendy's, we're going to go the other direction.
All right. A Lexington, Kentucky fast food worker was forced to take a break from the job, and it turned out to be life-saving. Thursday afternoon, Alexandra Cowherd performed CPR on a man at a Wendy's parking lot. I didn't panic visibly, but in the back of my mind, I was like, what do I do, she said. I kind of short-circuited a bit before I was like, girl, you know how to do CPR. Get over there and do those chest compressions. At 2:23 p.m., a man in the Wendy's parking lot on Richmond Road near I-75 quickly became a medical emergency. A worker at the fast food place noticed someone down and grabbed his coworker, Alexandria Cowherd, for help. Cowherd called 911, but she says by the time she got to the man, he was purple-blue in the face, wasn't responding, wasn't breathing. After Cowherd conducted several compressions, he did the snoring thing again and took a gasp of air, Cowherd said. The whole ordeal took 15 minutes. In my mind, it was taking a really long time for people to get there, said Cowherd. Emergency crews took him to the hospital. This 22-year-old just so happens to be CPR trained. She learned the life-saving technique during her senior year in high school.
That is so cool. I'm glad they're still teaching that.
Yeah.
I remember doing that when I was a kid. You know, CPR has changed.
Yeah, it's changed a lot since when
Yeah, we should probably take another class.
It wouldn't hurt. Right now, she's working at Wendy's while going to school at BCTC to become a certified nursing assistant.
Good
The
for
future
her.
medical professional wants to work in the NICU and reunite families. Thursday's action shows she knows how. I helped a man, proud of myself for that, Cowherd said. After helping that man, she went right back to work. According to Harvard Health Publishing, 65% of Americans say they have received CPR training at some point in their lives. However, 18% are up to date on training. So
Yeah.
we need to, if we want to ever do it,
we
we'll
should
be ready.
take a class together. Either that or a dancing class. Maybe both. Actually, if we took a dancing class, we would need a CPR class.
At this point, yes. I'm hoping our health improves a little bit.
Okay, one last story, and then we'll pay some bills and let you guys talk amongst yourself. We'll come back after that with This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things, a couple of the new abnormal, and who knows, maybe we'll get to our naked, greased-up Florida man. Not Nick, just saying.
The other one.
Okay, this one is really fascinating, and the headline kind of says it all. 14-year-old Virginia boy earns major prize and accolades for creating cancer-fighting soap.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, so as one of 10 competitors whose entries into the 3M Young Scientist Challenge garnered them the opportunity to travel to the conglomerate's global headquarters in St. Paul, Minnesota, 14-year-old Henman Beckley's concept to fight skin cancer earned him the top prize of $25,000. Great, so we're sending billions of dollars for Ukrainians to blow each other up, and we're only giving $25,000 to a kid who might cure cancer. Good job, people. For the student who grew up in Ethiopia and is now attending W.T. Woodson High School in Fairfax County, Virginia, the honor of America's top scientist was still at a level of disbelief from his efforts. You know, I don't know what it is about Ethiopians, but their kids are freaking brilliant. I've got 3 Ethiopian students, and they're all just bright as heck. It's so crazy. It's got to be a parenting thing. It has to be. It's so crazy. It's so surreal to even think about it right now. He told WTTG. Why do they all sound like that? The most difficult part was probably creating the first prototype. And went on to add before emphasizing the best part was hitting submit on his work. As part of the press release from his school district, the student explained, skin cancer is mostly found on people who live within developing countries, but the average price for an operation is $40,000. I was devastated by the idea of people having to choose between treatment and putting food on the table for their families. These are so many preventable deaths. That breakdown had also been included in a submission to 3M, where he detailed that over 10,000 deaths happen annually from those living with cancer that would otherwise be treatable if they could afford it. In developing his prototype solution for skin cancer treating soap, Berkeley, I keep calling him Berkeley, Vakele, I think is how you say his name,
Yeah.
explained that he combined a series of...
Keratolytic. Okay, I'm sorry. Keratolytic.
He doesn't trust me to use... okay. Agents meant to slowly reactivate... I'm just going to stop at every sciencey word, to reactivate dendritic cells, which are weakened after coming in contact with cancer cells, reducing their ability to protect the skin. Criteria for determining the winner...
Very important. You missed it one.
I missed something? What did I miss?
Right above the photo.
Oh, his product only cost 50 cents per bar.
Mm-hmm.
Way to go, kid. Criteria for determining the winner was based on ingenuity and innovative thinking, application of STEM principles, demonstration of passion and research, presentation skills, and ability to inspire others. As part of the program, the team was partnered with a mentor, product engineering specialist, Deborah. I hope he becomes a billionaire. I hope he hooks up with Tesla dude and they go to Mars and cure cancer together. I can't think. Elon Musk. Why could I not think of his name? It was such a privilege to support Iman through this process. He saw a need and used science to solve it. While I asked questions, made a few suggestions, and connected Iman to some additional experts to help make his project successful, ultimately the idea, the drive, and the prototype were all Iman's inspiration and hard work. So congratulations to this kid. What an amazing accomplishment. I hope it saves a lot of lives.
I wish you years of success, and God bless you for working towards the betterment of society. Thank you.
All right, folks, don't go anywhere. We're going to pay a couple of bills, and we'll be right back.
Leaders, listen up. Do you feel like you can't get a dang thing done because of all the namsy-pamsy crybabies that want you to coddle their creativity? When you give orders, are you met with vacant stares only rivaled by a cocker spaniel? It's not them. It's you. You need to shape up or they'll ship you out. Read The Sniper's Guide to Leadership, and you will become a more effective leader, communicator, and motivator. Forget SMART goals and learn SWIFT goals. Get The Sniper's Guide to Leadership in paperback, Kindle, and Nook. Today!
Any bank that's worth a bag of salt these days offers you alerts about your balance and your credit score. But is just knowing your balance really helping you? You need honest, in-the-moment financial advice from a trusted voice. At For Reals Bank, we are taking it to the next level. Introducing For Reals Alerts, the most honest money messaging you've ever experienced. You choose the voice that best fits your personality and needs, and we'll do the rest.
Dang, girl, you's a broke-ass hoe. You need to slow down and stop spending your baby daddy's hard-earned money. And what are you doing shopping at Macy's? You could have got that at the dollar store.
For the love of God, stop buying her drinks! Dude, she's already told you she's not going out with you! Besides, your alcoholic ass doesn't have any money left! Where were you gonna take her, the laundromat? For God's sake, stop already!
All right, lardass. After the 4th Arby's and 7th McDonald's transaction this week, we've locked your account for any more purchases outside of protein powder and a gym membership. Start walking and stop driving through, lardball!
According to our records, your savings balance is currently $0.08. Your most recent transaction was a withdrawal of $5,452,926.48, made 5 hours ago by your now former business partner, Bob. Bob is now on a private plane with your wife heading for an undisclosed island in the Pacific. I have connected to your GPS and am now searching for the tallest building nearby with an accessible roof.
Go to forrealsbank.com to sign up today. For Reals Bank, member FDIC, the Federally Dependent Idiots Committee.
Yeah, I get it. Your parents were jerks and you're traumatized. But that doesn't mean you should use your lousy childhood as an excuse to be a lousy adult. Stop being such a whiner and get past your past already. Buy Get Over It and Get Started, the book by Melanie Hope that will get you out of your self-imposed failure and on the road to greatness. Available in paperback, Kindle, and Nook.
Walking along the beach alone, I see him. Ree is on way. Before our eyes even meet, I know that his manly presence will be so toxic. How do I overcome this emotional intrusion and still assert who I am deep in my soul?
Now from Oscar Pelarenta, a new fragrance for today's social justice warrior. Introducing Ree.
I am my own woman. I am my own man. I am my own gender fluid. I am... What was I again?
Ree. Oscar Pelarenta's new fragrance for overpowering the patriarchy and igniting the new social order. Available at Guido's Pizza.
Is on way.
Hi, everybody. This is Jim from Counterculture-Wise with my newest jingle about our store. I don't mean to be intrusive, but just have a look at our exclusive stuff you just can't find in any store. Click on the big store link and find mugs that you can drink from, and shirts and hoodies and mouse pads and much more.
What is that awful sound?
Chop it, woman. I'm just getting started.
Oh, boy.
Where was I? Oh, yeah. Buy our crap and come support us. Whatever thing you can afford us, so our mean old landlord doesn't throw us in the street. We've got goggle stuff to deck your place, and Max's gorgeous orange face, and FBI and mooing slabs of meat.
Stop already.
No way, Toots. I'm on a roll. I can't emphasize enough how much you need to buy our stuff so I can live a better life chock full of luck. If after everything I've said, I haven't gotten through your head, then it's really clear you just don't give a...
Yeah, no!
I want what I want, woman!
And we want you to check out our great official gear at counterculturewise.com. Radio with heart in mind.
In Europe and America, there's a growing feeling of hysteria. So we send all our money for a proxy war without even asking what they're using it for. Mr. Putin says, what a weak, sad man. I'll take Ukraine because of course I can. Our economy has hit the floor, but Joe Biden loves their country more. How can we save our sanity from aging boomers' vanity? The press is excited to spin their lies. Forget what you're seeing with your own eyes. They're confused about biology. They force racist ideology. What would have saved us, me and you, is if the Jan 6 thing was a real coup. They set an impossible precedent while the lockdowns made everyone hesitant. The election was thusly fortified and integrity duly set aside. Mr. Biden says I will sniff on you. I don't subscribe to his pervy view. It's such a creepy thing to do. As as Joe Biden gropes your children too. He's confused about biology. He shirks his own theology. His installation was planned to screw because the Dems hate their own people too.
My fellow Americans, sales of honey-sweetened Bolaños is off the charts. And now, it's time to address Biden's endorsement of my MAGA line. Now, people tell me, they tell me, all the time, how old Sleepy Joe is going on and on about Ultra MAGA, as if it's a bad thing. A bad thing? Isn't that just silly? What old Joe doesn't know is that he's actually endorsing my latest line of Ultra MAGA products. Now, if you brought my steaks, you know they go great with ketchup. But if you want to take them up a notch, try my Hillary's hot sauce. It comes in small bottles so you can carry it in your purse or pocket, and just like Hillary, it's extra salty. So good, so good. And fresh squeezed from beautiful Mar-a-Lago oranges, Trump brand orange juice is as rich and as orange and sweet as I am. You can get it pulp-free or grown with extra pulp mulch made from composted declassified papers. From our fabulous Florida orchards to your breakfast table, people are saying, and I believe them, people are saying that this delicious juice goes great with Trump brand cereals. Let's face it, no one juices like Trump. Now, since Sleepy Joe's son has gotten into painting, it only makes sense that I help the old crook out with the best art supplies money can buy. Trump brand finger paints are the perfect thing for your deadbeat, druggy son to get started in the art world. They're non-toxic, so they do not include the color red, because the Bidens have done enough with the reds. The Ultra Super Mega palette includes such fabulous colors as laptop lavender, powdery substance white, navy Joan blue, and of course, my favorite, sun-kissed orange. Don't take my word for it. These things are the best. Everyone says so, they tell me. President Trump, when are you going to come out with new things? They like every product in the Ultra Mega line. And it sounds like old Sleepy Creepy Joe does too. So what's not to like? God bless you. God bless the United States of America.
Now, see, that's why we can't have nice things. Well, people in chat are loving the Trumpinator. We'll definitely have to have him back in the studio to record some more of those because that was way too much fun.
Absolutely.
Okay. We still don't have a client list. Apparently, folks are going to jail for running this sex ring, this child sex ring, but ain't nobody was on the client list. Well, apparently, one of his victims, whose testimony was key.
We're talking about Jeffrey Epstein, of course.
Yeah, okay. Did I not make the transition?
You never said Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine
Who
Maxwell.
else has their own island in the thing? Okay, anyway.
Islands in the stream. That is what we
Creepy islands. Okay, so a woman whose testimony was key to the criminal self-trap said blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Okay,
Blah, blah.
told you it was extra Halloweeny. Blah, blah. Key to the criminal sex trafficking conviction of Ghislaine Maxwell has died of a drug overdose. Well, at least she didn't not hang herself like he did. Carolyn Andrinio, a 36-year-old mother of 5, good Lord, child, was found dead at a hotel in Palm Beach County. Her mother, Dorothy Groner, told the Miami Herald. Although her death was discovered on May 23rd, it was not made public until this week. Groner, however, disputes the coroner's findings, questioning the thoroughness of the investigation. Yeah, like, we just turned out all the cameras, and then we fell asleep, and then we went shopping on eBay, and he done hung himself. I don't know how he did that. Yeah, I bet you they were thorough.
Well, how to do, boss?
Yeah, exactly. We'll have to play that another time. That one is animated. Yeah. But Andriano's longtime attorney, Jack Scarola, said he was confident in the findings related to her death. All right. A distraught mother is responding emotionally and very sure she's undergoing such a significant grief. Don't be pandering, you jerk. Carolyn was having a very difficult time following her experience in New York, referring to Andriano's testimony against Maxwell in federal court in Manhattan and Maxwell's sex trafficking trial in December 2021, where we still don't have a client list, Clinton. He said he continued to have a drug problem after the trial. Oh, he said she. I'm like, my pronouns got all wonky there. It is known that Carolyn's experiences with Jeffrey Epstein had an enormous impact on her life and clearly was the cause of her tragic death. I wonder how many more are going to be Arkancided before we ever learn.
Oh, we'll never know. They can, like, yeah, I don't know. They can pinpoint you if they want to, and yet somehow. Anyway.
All right.
A man has been found sleeping inside the ceiling of a convenience store. This is in Norman, Oklahoma.
Yikes!
Norman police.
I'll take a Slim Jim and none of him.
Norman police are investigating an unusual incident that took place at Brahms Ice Cream and Dairy Store in Norman, Oklahoma. Early morning workers arriving to open the store on September 9th were met with a puzzling scene as they discovered broken ceiling tiles strewn across the floor. Initially, the scene appeared to be a routine break-in, but it turned out to be far from ordinary. Upon police arrival, it was discovered that a man, later identified as 41-year-old Philip Hickman, had taken up refuge in the ceiling of the store. The responding officers, this guy should have been in Florida, as captured in body camera footage.
And of course he's not wearing a shirt.
Found Hickman approximately 6 feet away from them, perched amidst the rafters. Despite officers' attempts to communicate with him, Hickman remained unresponsive. According to Sarah Shetler, the public information officer for the Norman Police Department, Hickman had managed to access the store's ceiling sometime between its closing at midnight and the workers' arrival at 6 a.m. She said the workers had arrived at the restaurant to open it that morning, and there were ceiling tiles across the floor that had been broken. They could tell the individual crawled some distance across the store, which is what caused that pretty significant damage to the ceiling, and really just fortunate they didn't fall through the ceiling. Pretty significant damage. I think that to the store quite a bit of cost.
Does it say how he got in?
I don't know yet, honey.
He's just like derpty-derp, I'm going to sleep in the ceiling? I mean, what?
I don't know, honey. I think that to the store quite a bit of cost. There was a lot of wires that were pulled and things that were in disarray in the ceiling area. Nothing was reported stolen from the store. Instead, it seemed Hickman had caused damage estimated to be around $1,000 by crawling through the ceiling and disturbing wires and fixtures along the way.
So he's been doing it for a while.
It would appear so. Shetler added, no food in the grocery area, no other parts of the store looked like they had been disturbed or anything was taken. They believe the individual crawled through the ceiling and found a spot, and that's where they were when officers found him.
That's exactly what our squirrels did. They found a hole in the ceiling, and, well, at least he wasn't mating up there like they were.
I don't even know what to say. Who would mate with a man in the ceiling? I don't know. One officer can be heard saying the body camera footage.
I'm mating with the man in the ceiling. See, this is why I have a filter.
Yes.
Because that's where my brain goes.
Turn it back on and let me read.
Okay, sorry.
Arr. One officer can be heard saying in the body camera footage, got some dummy up in the ceiling. If you go up the ladder, he's in the rafters. You'll see him about 6 feet away. Hey, partner, Norman Police, you better come on out. The guy's in the rafters. We can't get him to move or do anything. Norman Police and Fire Department departments collaborated for approximately 30 minutes, employing various methods to coax Hickman out of his hiding spot. Eventually, he descended from the ceiling and was promptly taken into custody. He now faces charges of breaking and entering as well as malicious injury to property.
No mischief?
Well, close enough. Malicious injury to property. That's close enough.
There's got to be mischief or it doesn't count.
Oh, well.
No
No burglary, no. Blah, blah. Authorities remain baffled as to how Hickman gained access to the store ceiling, and so does Melanie. She remains baffled as to how he got into the ceiling.
I am going to remain baffled.
Norman police are continuing their investigation into the incident. Perhaps there's an update. But anyway, go ahead, and we're done with that.
Well, I'm going to skip to the story that was in the middle of that story because my friend, who is a child clown, she dresses up and does face painting and all that, learned that, there's a name for it, but I can't think of it right now, but I don't like clowns. Clowns induce beatings. Clowns are evil and vile and nasty, and I don't like them at all. And so she's taken it upon herself to send me memes and pictures of clowns, including Pennywise. I have never seen it. I will never see it. There's 2 movies I am not allowed to see. One is It, and the other is Old Yeller. So, yeah, this story is a little terrifying. A person dressed as a killer clown is stalking the streets of a sleepy village, leaving locals terrified.
Coulrophobia.
That's the word?
That's the word.
Coulrophobia?
No.
That just sounds
Coulro phobia. Or coulrophobia. Yeah, blah, blah.
Killer clownophobia, okay.
Coulrophobia. Okay, coulrophobia.
Coulrophobia. Coulrophobia clown. Yeah, screw that noise. Okay. The creepy character wearing a Pennywise-style outfit, complete with scary mask and makeup, even leaves red balloons dotted around the village of Skekmorai in North Ayrshire, Scotland, wearing white gloves and a lace collar, as well as a top fastened with a big fluffy button. The clown has left the 2,000 locals in fear. Yes, I would be terrified. Too bad you're not allowed to carry, Scotland. Try that in Texas. Try that in a small town. Pennywise, the dancing clown, is the main character in Stephen King's 1986 novel It, which was made into a 1990 miniseries with Tim Curry, really? As a scary clown? Oh, he'd make a good scary clown. From Transclownua, Pennsylvania. Okay. It was me. I'm sorry, I'm cross-pollinating way too many things there. You actually do a really good...
I do a good Frankenfurter, yes.
You do a good Frankenfurter.
Yes, I do.
Yes. Unlike the Wienermobile. We like to bring it all back around.
Yeah, we do. Around and around and around we go.
Into the nuts with the boot. All right. In the past week, a Facebook account set up by the clown calling himself Cole Damos posted images of himself in the darkened streets of the village and creeping along on all 4s over a bridge. Why? In one image, he stares at the screen with a hideous smile on his face while holding a red balloon. In the book and movies, Pennywise tempts children to their death by making red balloons bob along the road and down storm drains, where he lies in wait to grab them and pull them into the sewers. And it says the Daily Record reports. No, the Stephen King novel reports. Don't take credit for that, you jerks. In other photos, the Skekmorai killer clown, as he has been dubbed by locals, is shown snarling at the camera as he stands behind a locked gate and posing outside a shop in the village. The clown has also left red balloons dotted around the village, which is just over 30 miles from Glasgow. He needs to be killed. He needs to be taken out. He needs to be Hamased.
He does look an awful lot like Pennywise.
Yeah, one local who asked not to be named said he wasn't letting his 2 sons, aged 11 and 13, out at night. Yeah, no duh. He said, whoever this is, they're scaring everybody. He needs to be stopped. Someone needs to have a word with him before the police get involved, or he really terrifies somebody and they go boom. He could give someone a heart attack. Yeah, try it in Texas, buddy. He added, one boy the street along from us said he saw the clown from his bedroom window just before he went to bed, and he didn't sleep all night. I wouldn't either. Another local, calling herself Pauline, said the photos and videos had just been removed from Cole Demos' Facebook page 2 days ago, but they had already done the rounds on social media, leaving villagers petrified. What could possibly be this dude? She said everyone in the village has seen the video and post on Facebook of the Skekmorai killer clown, and we're all talking about who it is, but nobody's got a clue. I imagine he took his photos and videos down because he was getting too much heat. Cole Damos's Facebook states that he is self-employed and studied at clown school, and that he does actually live in Skelmorlie. Police are aware of the Facebook post. Is this going to be another one of those, he was on our radar, but then he went crazy and shot up a bunch of people?
Almost likely. Sure. He was on our radar, we didn't do anything about it, and boom.
Yeah, I feel that we need to treat clowns like this the same way that we treat those giant spiders in Australia. Flamethrowers. Kill it with flame.
Fire. Okay, are we doing some more of the, because we kind of skipped around.
Nice thing, yeah, I just had to add that one in because it was popping up, and so you can do the state trooper.
Okay. Nothing bugs me more than a cop who abuses his authority or thinks he's above the law. All right. I think we did this one, actually. Yeah, we've done this one. Have we? I'll read it anyway. Pennsylvania state trooper who was caught on... Let's try again. A Pennsylvania state trooper was caught on camera appearing to physically assault his ex-girlfriend after he allegedly abused his power to have her involuntarily committed to a hospital. I didn't even know that was doable these days. Ronald Davis, 37, not to be confused with Ronald McDonald, who is a clown, looks a lot like Pennywise.
Very similar to Pennywise.
Is accused of having improperly obtained a warrant to have the woman committed without divulging his connection to her, according to the criminal complaint and a probable cause affidavit provided by the Dauphin County District Attorney's Office. While he was carrying out the order himself, he asked another person to record him as he appeared to strangle her and restrain her. During the 12.5
appeared
minute...
to? Were they pantomiming?
I don't know. During the 12.5-minute video released by the DA's office, she repeatedly says, "I can't breathe." Davis...
Well, yeah, but that thug who died of a drug overdose said the same thing, too. So
I was hoping you wouldn't mention that. But anyway, I knew you would, so there it is. Davis, who has been a trooper since 2015... Oh, what a trooper! Has been suspended without pay in accordance with state law, and he's been charged with felony strangulation, unlawful restraint, false imprisonment, simple assault, and official oppression. I'm throwing in malicious mischief because I feel like it.
Well, it's official oppression. What if it was unofficial?
It's because he was a cop. That's why it's official. That's what I believe to my soul is the case.
And you know, if there's one thing I hate, it's when not only am I false imprisonated, but my assault is a little bit too complicated. Thank goodness this is just simple assault and not complicated assault.
Yes. Complicated, you have them hold something in their hand while you're assaulting them.
Here, spin this while I assault you.
Play with this yo-yo. I'll be right there.
I have a feeling that that's something that Nick would be good at, is complicated assault. Here, you play with this yo-yo, and I want you to hum the national anthem while I assault you. Hurry, hurry, yeah!
The woman wound up... Why am we even bothering?
I don't know.
Our commentary's funnier than any of this crap.
Well, that's the point.
The woman wound up being held at Lehigh Valley Hospital for 4 days until her release on August 25th.
Poor woman.
The video and text communications with Davis show that the victim was rational and the involuntary commitment was improper, the DA's office said in the news release.
So he's just
don't date a cop.
Take my wife, please. And they're like, okay.
Well, just don't date a cop. Sorry, cop friends. I do have some.
Well, we have an actual cop friend in our church.
I know.
He seems like a nice guy.
He's a great fella. Okay.
Of course, he hasn't pulled me over yet, so.
I take that back. Anyway, a judge ordered Davis held without bail in Dauphin County Prison at his preliminary arraignment last week. The DA's office said a preliminary hearing has been set for Monday. It was not immediately clear how much jail time Davis could face if he is convicted or whether he has a lawyer who could speak on his behalf. A spokesperson for the DA's office could not immediately be reached for comment. Davis is married and lives with his family in Dauphin County, probably not for much longer. But anyway, he did not respond to emails seeking comment. Davis allegedly told colleagues on August 21st the woman was living in a camper on his property, that their relationship had deteriorated, and that she had recently been acting erratically, according to the probable cause affidavit. The two had a 4-month relationship, the woman later told police. Davis said they had been having an ongoing domestic argument over the previous 2 days involving clothing she had stored in his garage, according to the probable cause affidavit. He added that the woman was suicidal and claimed that she had texted him minutes earlier saying she was going to drive off a cliff. This goes on
and
way too long.
Yeah. Well, you can read the rest at Counterculture-wise
If you dare.
If you dare.
Okay.
So, Jim, let's say you're traveling down the road and you run into the Weenie Mobile and they give you a weenie.
Cool.
And you travel a little bit further down the road and you see the Nutmobile and they give you a bunch of salted peanuts.
Yay.
What would you be hankering for after that? Maybe, gosh, is there like a Coke Mobile or a Sprite Mobile?
I think there actually have been traveling exhibits with Coca-Cola.
Okay. Well, these guys went a different direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
What direction did they go?
It was reported to police that 2 tanks which contained a large quantity of cattle semen were stolen after entry was gained to an outbuilding in the area, and it is believed that the burglary occurred sometime between 3 p.m. on Saturday and 1 p.m. on Monday.
Hey, Melanie, repeat after me. Berg.
Berg.
La.
La.
Re. Say them together.
That's like tinfoil.
Yeah.
and the flooring stuff. Yeah. The stolen tanks and contents were of significant value, and at this time our inquiries are ongoing as we work to establish the circumstances surrounding this theft. I mean, there's hold my beer, and then there's let's steal an entire tank of bovine semen. Come on, guys. I would encourage anyone who has this type of equipment or who works in this industry to be vigilant against this type of crime. What are they going to do with it?
Yeah, what do you do with a tanker full of bull cum? What do you do with that?
I mean, because all the crap is being used in politics, so what do you do with it? Good Lord. Particularly over the darker winter nights. Please review the
That's
security.
so dark and cold. What can I use to warm myself up? I know!
Please review the security you have around your property and ensure any cameras are placed at entry points, like the cows, where access might be gained.
I don't know if in this context saying input in cows or whatever.
And that would be the entry point for a bull.
Entry point for a cow,
yeah. I mean, what do they... See, that's my next question is, whose job is it to extract that? There is somebody
would have
out there
to pay pretty darn well.
I was going to say, there's somebody out there milking bulls, and that's for reals. So, I would also urge anyone who may have any information.
This is, by the way, in the UK. It's nowhere near.
Okay.
You
were you in Ballinus?
You have to do like Graham Chapman as a cop. What's all this then?
What's all this then? What? Were you in the Ballinus Road area and saw anything suspicious, like a guy jacking off a cow into a container?
Hijacking?
It'd have to be hijacking. You need a stool for that. Yeah. Okay then. So, salted planter's penis, anybody?
Woo. All right.
All right.
This is fun.
One last. Oh, it's a didn't do.
I am Dindu. Anyway.
No, actually, he's like, he all talks like this,
Yeah. The video posted on Nick. Okay. 19-year-old admits he's the guy who's seen sucker punching people at Houston area park.
Yeah, he just walks up to people and punches them in the head.
The video posted on Nextdoor's show a guy in a red hoodie randomly walking up to people walking at Wortham Park in the Cypress area. Isn't that one of the ones we went to when we were in Houston?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think that was. And punching them from behind. The Harris County Sheriff's Office is investigating a disturbing video posted on social media showing someone punching people at Harris County Park. The video at Wortham Park was posted on Nextdoor by someone who'd seen it on a different platform. It shows a guy in a red hoodie with Spartans on the front, randomly going up to people from behind and sucker punching them. He also tried to tackle one man at the Cypress area park earlier this week.
So he's just like walking around smacking people for no reason? And he thinks that's okay?
The video, He must have, because he did it. The video drew hundreds of comments and sparked concern among nearby residents who also used the trail.
So that means somebody was videoing him doing it.
Yes.
So he has an accomplice.
I don't know. I would imagine there'd have to be. Tonight, KHOU, K-H-O-U, Houston, get it? 11 News reporter Jason Miles tracked down the 19-year-old seen in the video who said he now regrets his violent behavior. Yes, I do, Alfred Lewis said. You know, I just made a mistake, and everybody makes... You call deliberately walking up and bopping people
That is
on
not
the head
making a mistake, you jackhole.
I don't even want to read the rest
I
of
was
this.
going to say, this moment of silence.
Because I need to. We spoke with Lewis at his home not far from the park. He admitted his parents were disappointed when they learned what had happened. Disappointed? I really didn't expect it to go...
Now, little Billy, will you stop walking around the park and clocking people in the back of the head? I tell you, these boys these days.
I really didn't expect it to go so left, you know, he told us. I know from the video all you see is the bad part about it. Well, what part are you expecting to see, you fool?
Well, and you know what sucks? Is if he walked up and did that to me, and I turned around and I shot him, I'd be the one going to jail.
Yeah, I know. Here's the next sentence, which is very important. But what people don't see is that I shook his hand after and gave the man a hug. Sure, babe.
They
we
don't
couldn't
see it.
verify
Why?
that part of the story.
Nobody could verify
Lewis said
it.
he did get to likes and he did it to get likes and views on YouTube and TikTok. What an ass.
Well,
Lewis said
even worse is that he would get likes and views on YouTube and TikTok.
Yeah, that's
this
true.
is what garbage we have now.
Lewis said the harsh reaction of the video made him rethink his actions, and he hopes others learn from his mistake. Before you go out and do anything you feel is bad or that would look bad, make sure people know, or just don't do it at all. The HCSO Violent Crimes Division is investigating the video. The men seen getting punched may have to file charges for things to proceed. I hope they do. Sorry, dude. Maybe you regret it. Maybe you won't do it again. That's great, but you still got... But you does the crime, you does the time.
You does the crime, you does the time.
All right.
Hey, you want to do a really quick Florida man? We've only got a couple of stories, and then we can round out the...
I think that's amazing. I'd rather do that than New Abnormal.
Yeah, we don't have much there, and then we've got one last story. We always like to end on a high note, so I always tell a tearjerker at the end, so...
Ever had a day you felt so stupid, lacking a brain? Well, here's a guy who'll make you feel like a genius and maybe even sane.
All the world loves to laugh at losers as often as they can. Here comes another chance to chuckle. Here comes the Florida man.
We have one real Florida man and one honorary Florida man.
Indeed.
Which one do you want to do?
Well, we're in order, so you go ahead and do
it's my turn. Okay.
Yes, it is your turn.
I think I actually pitched this one before our... Okay, I'm sorry. You have to read the headline and the subheading because it basically says everything you need it to say. Naked, greased-up Florida man accused of breaking into 2 homes, jumping in pool. Deputies believe suspect was under influence of unknown substances.
www.yesdon'tsay.com. All right.
What's really weird is the photo. It looks like
It looks like a dancing chicken.
It kind of looks like that pink thing from Pikachu. What the heck is that thing called? Jigglypoof. It looks like Jigglypoof. A man was arrested Friday morning in DeBerry after he allegedly broke into 2 homes and tried to evade deputies by jumping in a swimming pool and onto a trampoline while naked, according to sheriff's officials. Deputies said they responded around 2 a.m. to report a at a home on High Banks Road and encountered the suspect identified as 34-year-old Blake Tokman. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office said Tokman smashed out a window to break into one home, then left and broke into another house. Where's the greasing up part? I want the greasing up. Deputies said they encountered Tokman in the second house. Body-worn camera video released by the sheriff's office shows Tokman running from the deputy, jumping in a pool, then climbing out of the pool and jumping onto a trampoline. This is the games. This is the Olympics that they're doing. Boingy, boingy. The sheriff's office said it took 4 deputies to get, because nobody wanted to touch them. They're all wearing gloves going, ew. It took 4 deputies to get custody of Kosman, yeah. Custody of Tokman, who kicked or hit, which was it? Was it kicked or hit? Deputies. One of the deputies was cut on the arm by a kick or a hit. In addition to being naked, the sheriff's office said Tokman was covered in wheel-bearing grease, peppermint oil, and blood. I want to know who did the taste test to find out what those ingredients were. Somebody somewhere had to actually figure out those ingredients. They believe he may have been under the influence of an unknown substance. You blank. They said it took 3 medical professionals to secure him on a stretcher for evaluation and treatment. Tokman faces charges of 2 counts of occupied, 3 counts of battery on a law enforcement officer. It's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. 2 counts of criminal mischief and resisting arrest with violence. But not malicious mischief. It's got to be malicious or it doesn't count. He really does look like Jigglypuff.
It just looks to me like a dancing chicken, but anyway.
Folks in the chat are hilarious. Gloves? Blood all over. The officers are wearing gloves. Everyone is on meth. And they all get guns. Yeah. Welcome to Florida. All right.
Now, an honorary Florida man.
I mean, this guy should have been a Florida man.
All right.
If he wasn't at some point in his life, I would be very surprised. But no.
A man accused of attacking a skateboarder with a machete. Wait a minute.
Keep going.
The first sentence is badly written. A man accused of attacking a skateboarder with a machete was accused. Why didn't they put the word was? A man was accused of attacking a skateboarder with a machete because he allegedly thought the skateboarder was a fish.
Because has been arrested at the end.
Oh.
Yeah. You didn't read far enough ahead.
No, because I'm reading the word that's right there.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
a man
anyway.
accused of attacking a skateboarder with a machete because he allegedly thought the skateboarder was a fish.
Has been arrested.
Has been arrested. No, it's a really
That's
bad
me.
sentence.
Sorry, that was
it's
on
very
me.
poorly written.
Okay.
I would give them an F minus.
No, it's a full sentence.
Okay,
it was
C
me.
plus.
Okay, great. Ryan Neil Davis, 23, was B plus. Okay, B minus. Ryan Neil Davis, 23, was booked into the Salt Lake County Jail early Wednesday for investigation of aggravated assault. According to a police booking affidavit, a man had been skateboarding on the sidewalk near 300 South Main Street just before 1 a.m. Wednesday. As the man passed Davis produced a large machete and swung it at the victim, striking him on the left forearm, causing a 1/2-inch laceration that will require stitches, the affidavit states. When questioned about
did he think he was sushi? Did he think he was cutting up the...
I have no idea. When questioned about the assault, Davis allegedly stated that he was attempting to cause him harm because he thought the victim was a fish.
Why would you want to harm a poor innocent fish on the ground?
Maybe he doesn't like fish. According to the affidavit, the attack comes less than 2 months after Davis was convicted of 3 counts of attempted aggravated assault in the 3rd District Court. In that case, he approached 3 fast food employees and threatened them with a knife while demanding food, according to charging documents. He was given credit for 42 days. He had already served in jail and was placed on 2 years probation.
Well, obviously that worked out for him.
So, not his fault at this point. It's the fault of the courts and the legal system in Utah. Whatever. Davis is also facing a charge in Salt Lake City Justice Court after allegedly making a threat of violence at a Salt Lake City gas station on July 20th. A warrant was issued for his arrest on October 6th in that case after he failed to show up to a court hearing.
So he's going to go out and shoot up a mall, and they're going to blame the gun.
Yeah.
I mean, dude is absolutely balls in his throat crazy.
I'm going to state this opinion once and let it go. We need a return of mental asylums.
We do.
We need to have mental care for people who cannot take care of
it
themselves.
It is not
for
compassionate.
Their good, for their own
good.
For
their good, for the good of
this
society.
This guy wouldn't be doing this crap.
And I'm not saying we want the cold cells with them strapped down and
No.
zapped.
We're not talking about
Let's
lobotomies.
be humane about it, but...
We're not talking like strapping down to electric chair or whatever.
It's cruel to have these people living on the
But this is
streets. It's
insane.
cruel that they're
It's
not
nuts.
taking their meds. It's what we're doing as a society is awful. It's just awful.
All right. Well.
All right. Well, folks, gosh, it's been quite a whirl. We always like to end on a high note. So this one, even though it's technically my turn to read.
I usually make her do it, but she did this time, so we're going to switch, and I'm going to read. I don't even know what the story is.
So here's our stinger, and he can load the story.
I'll load the...
Here on Counterculture Wise, we may rant, we may rave, but most of all, we go against the current culture because we believe, to the core of our beings, that humans are good and the world is an amazing and beautiful place. At the beginning of our show, we give you news of the weird and wonderful, but that is just the tip of the magnificent iceberg that is our world. We now present news of the wonderfuller.
Cue the song Dogs of War by Pink Floyd. Never mind. Okay, a dog which twice cheated death in Ukraine after being rescued from floods and surviving a Russian bombing has found a new home thanks to a British charity. Heartbreaking footage captured the mixed-breed pup named Henry clinging for life in the rubble of a building after the Kharkova Dam in Kherson was destroyed. The sound of missiles dropping can be heard in the background as rescuers made their way through floodwater to rescue the stricken pooch in June.
I just love that even in the midst of war, that there's people compassionate enough to save a dog. I mean, that gives you faith in humanity, even in the middle of all this.
The sound of... Okay, I already said that. To avoid drowning, brave Henry managed to doggy paddle to the remains of a bombed-out building poking out of the floodwaters. Greg Tully, country director for Save the Dogs, revealed how Henry was originally found collapsed, exhausted, and barely conscious. After the dam in Kherson exploded, Henry was one of the dogs that was pulled out of the floodwaters. Now you can actually see footage. That's amazing. Where am I here?
Covered in oil and sludge.
Covered in oil and sludge. There was a lot of toxic material at the bottom of the reservoir that washed out with the flood. We thought this dog was all black, and when he was cleaned up, and actually he's more white than black.
Aw, puppers!
He was taken to a clinic in Odessa, Poland for around-the-clock treatment because the toxic sludge caused chemical burns to his skin.
Oh, baby.
But his ordeal didn't end as shortly after his rescue. The animal clinic caring for him was bombed by the Russians. Despite the bombardment, Henry and the other animals escaped unharmed.
Wait, he was in Poland? Why is Russia bombing Poland? When did that start?
They're not. Hold on. I don't know. Despite the bombardment, Henry and the other animals escaped unharmed, and he was moved to another clinic where he continued to receive treatment. I don't know why it says that. I don't think the Russians bombed Poland.
I'm pretty sure they didn't, because I think we'd hear about that.
I think we might know about that by now.
Yeah, so...
Okay, anyway. Henry and the other animals escaped unharmed, and he was moved to another clinic where he continued to receive treatment. Just 4 months on, and he is in a loving new home thanks to Save the Dogs and Other Animals, a charity supported by Blue Cross's Ukraine Pet Welfare Fund. He obviously loves people and is a really happy dog.
He's a sweet puppers.
Yeah, looks like a sweet doggy. It's been really inspiring after seeing the videos of him getting pulled out of the floodwaters, and now he's a happy, loving dog in a loving new home. I won't forget him. It was really amazing to see that. Liliana Pacheco, Director of Community Engagement at Save the Dogs.
I was going to say, that is a really Polish-sounding name.
Said Henry now lives in Poland with his new owner, Anya, where he continues to go from strength to strength. Anya said, when the Russians blew up the dam, I saw a video of Henry and my heart broke. I realized that no one would want to take him in, and he will never feel that someone loves him after this hell he went through. That's why I started looking for him, and I found the hospital where he's taken.
Wow, she went looking for him. That's so sweet.
Anna Wade from National Pet Charity Blue Cross said, the compassion and dedication of the charity partners on the ground to rescue pets and care for them day to day is overwhelming, and we're doing all we can to support them and their vital work. The Blue Cross Ukraine Pet Welfare Fund has raised over £500,000 to fund and provide... We don't want pounds for dollars. Anyway, and provide support to cats and dogs left in Ukraine for owners fleeing the country with their animals. Greg says Save the Dogs has sent almost 1,000 tons of food to dogs and cats in Ukraine, and they've sterilized more than 1,300 animals to avoid a surge in strays on the streets. Well,
awesome.
Congratulations, buddy.
I'm glad you got a home, little guy. Looks like you're quite the trooper.
But yeah, it does. The dog looks like one of our dogs in the
black,
one photo, just
black
as can be.
Yeah. Well, folks, thank you so much for joining us in chat. That was a lot of fun. We like our witty bitty whittle Nicky Poo when he's on chat. He's just so
Thanks
cute.
for listening in, Nicky Poo.
And we will be back here next Sunday. If you want to hear more of Nick, he's actually been on several of our episodes, so check out our archives. Head on over to counterculturewise.com for some of our merchandise. Check us out on all the social medias, and of course, come back next week where we'll do this all over again. You have an amazing week.
God bless, folks. Counterculture-Wise is a Stormcat production.
Thank you for joining our growing family of listeners. All links from the show are available on our website, counterculturewise.com. Find our archives on any of your favorite podcast hosts.
We engage in satire, commentary, and generally laugh at the ridiculousness of our crumbling society. Our only medical or financial advice is to not follow any financial or medical advice given by podcasters.
Our animations, interviews, Holy Crap segment, and other videos are put out on BitChute and Rumble, and only in part on YouTube because they hate free speech.
Our show is entirely funded by listeners like you. Visit our ever-expanding merch store or our Subscribe Star, where you can get outtakes, extra videos, and sneak peeks.
If you would like to be a guest on our program, feel free to contact us via our website. Just click on the link at the top that says, Be a Guest on Our Show.
For more fun and cat pics, please visit our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. For complaints about our show, please fill out the ID10T form on our website, and we will give it the attention it deserves.
Meanwhile, no matter how cruel the world may be around you, always remember the importance of kindness. Be kind to each other, be kind to animals, and be kind to yourself. See you next week.